Okay, welcome to the first installment of the instrument making guide. Today we're going to actually start construction work, and let me just show you. Now first I'm going to start off with these. These are the Pochette. These are the small pocket instruments, as they are called, and they're not very large. Probably about 8 inches long. With the neck, they're probably maybe about 12 inches long. They're meant to be. Back in the old days, they would make these to fit them in pockets of jacket pockets. So they're pretty thin. So they're pretty thin instruments. They're thin, but they're pretty long. But anyway, I'm not gonna make a big one yet because I'm still working on some right now. Here's two. This one is not done because I had finished it, but I didn't like the way the varnish turned out, so I'm trying to remove the old varnish. I'm going to restain it. And this one in the back, the viola, it's done. And I had it running and working. And I actually had played it for a while, but I didn't like the action on it, so I took it up. So I took it back. I readjusted the parts. I'm going to make a new fingerboard, new pegs, and all the rest of that stuff. But those are the two that I have working on right now. But anyway, going back to this. First, we start off with the mold, and that's what this is right here. This is the mold. This is a mold, from what I wrote down here. I made this 2012. I made this one just recently. And from this mold I made 2 or 3. No, it's 2. I mean, okay. Now, what I'm showing you here, this is the simplest one. It's called the almond style. It's called the almond style because it's in that little round oval shape. Now there's 3 styles that you have. You have this you have the almond shape, and another one you have the classic fiddle-like, which is just looks like a distorted violin. And then you have the Baroque style. The Baroque style is this one right here, which I have not finished. The camera strap's getting in the way. Camera strap's getting in the way, and so is the cap. But anyway, that is your Baroque style. This is the almond style. This is the easiest one to make. This is the easiest one to make. The other ones I will not show you yet because they're more elaborate and more complicated. So this is something that you would start off as a beginner. This is actually the perfect instrument to start off with as a beginner because it requires not very much skill. Not very much skill because it's all round. There's no edges that you have to run into or anything. But let me give you the precise measurements on this one. Now this one is probably about, this mold is from the widest point is about 3 inches. From the thinnest point it's probably about 2 inches. And the length is about 7 inches. Okay. So you got 7 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches. Right? The thickness doesn't matter. And this one, I just cut it into a regular board. This is about an inch. Let's see, this is about 1 inch and 3/8. But usually the thickness of these instruments is very thin. You're trying not to get them to, in total, the body of the instrument should have a width of about 1 inch. Like this one. Going back to the Baroque one here. It needs the sides, which are very complicated because of all the curves and stuff. But this one in total will have 1 inch width. Now, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I made one using this actual thickness of this mold, and it's a very nice, strong sounding instrument. So, you know what, just to keep it easier, I think I'm going to do that again. Plus, I like it that way. Nice thick rib, gives it a lot of depth. Well, anyway, here's how we go. Start off with your rig. How we're gonna do this? Sorry, I'm using a different tripod today, not my big one. This is a little mini one that is meant for taking pictures and holding small, thin cameras, not this giant beast that I always used to record with. Well, anyway, here's your back. Here's your back. It's a nice piece of maple. It has some figure to it, but that's not what I'm gonna unplug the fan. And what you're trying to figure out is the tonal qualities of this piece here. Use it by usually grabbing it in the corner. Grab it from the corner and tap it. Yeah. So that's probably about an E. And I have a variety of tops here. Some of them are stained because I did spill some varnish, but that won't show because we're going to carve them anyway. And you're trying to find one with the same note. For example, that one's a B. That one's an F sharp, I believe. That one's G. Wait, where is it? Hold on. Yeah, that one's G. C, I believe. That was an A. So we have an E, and find something similar to the E. So I'm going to go with an A. They're not the same, but they're not going to be the same. It's two different ones, but I'm just using this to demonstrate that each piece has a different tonal quality. Step 1. To find the face of your board, you're going to place your mold on top. Usually I would make the ribs first. This camera is horrible. Tripod is horrible. Use this and that pretty much sits it in the mold. Switch it around. Now you have your mold, you have it on top of your piece of maple. Take your pencil. This pencil has a pretty thick washer. This washer is probably about a fourth from the center point diameter. Yeah, it's about a fourth. And that'll give it enough width. Because it's alright if we have enough width. This is just to cut it out. Wait. Thinking about this now, don't do it that way. I just remembered why I made it like this. There's about a very thick inch gap along these sides here. No, wait, no. Won't work. Well, anyway. I lost my washer. Take your washer and you're going to try to trace it about a fourth. Next we gotta hook these up best as we can. Add alterations if you must. Okay, so add your little nub. Go around the center. Like that. This is only in the back piece, so I traced it out. Make sure you got your nub up here because that's where the neck's going to slide into. And that's it for this first part. What we're doing is just prepping our materials. We got maple. We have a maple back with a nice narrow grained pine spruce front. Nice narrow grained pine spruce front. We have our mold ready as well. Next step, we cut out the back, trace it onto the maple. Cut out the maple back, trace it onto the spruce, cut that too, and then we can start carving. And with an instrument like this, it's not going to be complicated like a violin that arches upward and curves out and flares out. I always have a model here. It's not going to be like a violin or a viola. It's not going to be like a violin that it arches and arches and then it curves and then it flattens out. No, this is just going to be a regular standard curve, similar to this. That is just beveled. And we will do that on a sander. And I will show you how that's done. You see, this is a very simple instrument to create, which is why it's perfect for beginners. It doesn't require very much skill. Even for the neck. The neck, you don't need to put a scroll on it. It's better. If you don't want to, you don't need to put a scroll on it. It's very simple, very basic, which is why I'm showing this one first. Alright, so I'm going to cut this out and then we'll